Welcome to part 2 of my rewrite for Jurassic World. I'm going to give a quick story recap just to catch everyone up. I do apologize, of course, for the break, but there were some copyright issues, so let's get into the recap. So far, the story has remained pretty much the same, with a couple of exceptions. Namely, Zach has an internship here at Jurassic World, and his brother Gray is coming to visit him, rather than the two of them here on a family trip. The Indominus has still escaped and is still running rampant through the park. Zach and Gray are on the run, but there have been a couple of key changes. Number one, Hoskins is the head of the security and leader of the ACU, rather than just being some InGen consultant like the original movie, and we see that he is a lot more caring about the lives of his men. Similarly, Dr. Wu has been fleshed out a little bit more and will continue to be in part 2. Already he has suggested something called the DX contingency, which is a hint to the Michael Crichton novels and will be coming into play later. Masrani has opposed both of their plans to stop the Indominus. Masrani does not want to go with Hoskins' idea of using the Velociraptors to hunt the Indominus, and he doesn't want to go with Dr. Wu's idea of using DX to infect and kill the Indominus Rex. By this point in the story, Masrani has led a team of ACU members to use the M134 on the Indominus. However, the Indominus broke into the aviary, and now the Pteranodons and Dimorphodons are loose. Hoskins saw all of this happen while in the control room and has called for ACU to mobilize to Main Street with tranquilizer guns to protect the general public. And it is there that our story continues. The Pteranodons and Dimorphodons fly out of the hole after a couple get a small bite by the Indominus. Importantly, the Indominus immediately tries to eat the flying dinosaurs, her curiosity with other dinosaurs from earlier seemingly gone. Masrani backs off and is left alone by the Pteranodons and Dimorphodons since it is a giant unknown object that could be a predator. We cut to Main Street. In this scene, we'll follow a family as they hear about the containment anomaly. As they are trying to get to the emergency shelter, they see a group of Pteranodons and Dimorphodons flying close by, but they ignore the humans. In this rewrite, the Pteranodons and Dimorphodons attacking the guests completely undoes the idea of the dinosaurs just being animals, and in my opinion, the movie kind of falls apart after that scene on Main Street. So instead, the Pteranodons and Dimorphodons are coming to Main Street because they need water and they see the lagoon. A group of them land around the lagoon. The little girl of the family we were following lost her Triceratops plushie in the chaos, and it is lying next to one of the Pteranodons drinking from the lagoon. There is a tense scene where she is trying to get to the plushie while her dad is trying to get her away from the Pteranodon. Suddenly, another Pteranodon is flying down close to the lagoon, and the Mosasaurus bursts from the water and grabs it, causing the whole group to panic and go into a frenzy. This makes the scene tense and keeps the dinosaurs feeling like animals while still keeping the chaos of the original scene. Hoskins and the rest of the ACU team show up, directing guests away from the chaos and begin tranquilizing the dinosaurs. Zara finds Zach and Gray in the chaos and watches them until Owen and Claire arrive. Owen helps the ACU team and gets attacked by the Dimorphodon. Claire will save him from the Dimorphodon. They won't kiss, but they will exchange a look. Hoskins gets the rest of the guests into the emergency shelter, and on his way out says, "No Triceratops," to a kid as he leaves. The camera swings around to see the dad manage to get his daughter and wife away safely, and the daughter managed to get her Triceratops plushie. Owen is helping some of the injured ACU members when Hoskins comes up. He is very obviously mad that more of his men have gotten injured because of the Indominus. He leaves and calls a number on his phone. "Barry, Owen is preoccupied right now. I'm on my way to the raptor paddock." Masrani storms into the control room. He calls Claire, Hoskins, and Dr. Wu and tells them to get to the control room immediately. He does not get an answer from Hoskins or Wu. Claire, Owen, Zach, Gray, and Zara are all on their way to the control room. Zach and Gray tell Claire what they saw and heard in Wu's secret lab. When Masrani calls Claire, she tells him about this. He instructs her to get all of them to the control room while he investigates himself. His plan is to evacuate the general public off the island before going after the Indominus again, and he tasks Claire and Lowry with coordinating evacuation efforts. As he is leaving, Larry calls him over. He found records that show Dr. Wu had access to the Indominus Paddock systems shortly before she escaped. Masrani leaves to confront Wu about everything. As they get back to the control room, Barry calls Owen and tells him Hoskins is here and he plans to release the Raptors to hunt the Indominus. Owen and Claire leave to confront Hoskins, leaving Zack and Gray with Zara and Larry. Masrani finds Dr. Wu's secret lab. He barges in to find Wu prepping samples for transport. Henry, what are you doing? Mr. Masrani, I am preparing to evacuate per your instructions. There is still a need for you here. You have not answered my calls, and I have found you in a lab off the record. I know you have been frustrated with me as of late, but this goes far beyond that. You asked me to create you a cooler dinosaur without stopping to think of the consequences that would bring. 100 experiments to create a viable embryo, and now you draw the line at an experiment that greatly expands the variable set? We found records you were in the Indominus Paddock systems shortly before she escaped. Do not tell me I did. Tree frogs can modulate their thermal output, but they cannot hide from a thermal scanner, so I took care of that problem. I needed to expand my understanding of my creation, but I could not do that with her cooped up in a box. Why would you do this? I know you have found me frustrating to work under, but killing innocent people to get back at me is evil. I never imagined it would go this far. The experiment should have only lasted as far as the initial ACU mission at worst, but it is fascinating nonetheless. None of those people died because I was trying to get back at them. I was trying to progress science, and as you said, sir, progress is always risky. Masrani slowly inches towards a lab bench. He turns, trying to play it off as feeling overwhelmed, but really he is looking for something to use to apprehend Wu. He sees a vortex machine and moves to pick it up. Masrani suddenly flinches as he sees Wu stab him with a syringe. He looks around and sees an empty DX vial sitting on the counter. What's one more experiment, sir? He watches as Masrani immediately slumps to the floor and writes down "very lethal to humans" in a notebook, before grabbing the storage containers and leaving. Masrani opens his mouth to say something, but it is too late. The DX has already killed him. Owen and Claire drive up to the raptor paddock. Barry is trying to stall and stop Hoskins, but the ACU team has fitted the headsets from the movie onto the 4 raptors. We have the same sequence as the movie, with Barry telling Hoskins that Echo looks at what she wants to eat. Then Owen punches Hoskins.
The mother hen has finally arrived!
Ah, jeez. How many more people have to die? I've watched good men get killed by that thing, and the chaos it has caused. I've seen you work with these things. They can hunt and kill the Indominus. You want to watch a news story tomorrow about how you all saved lives? Better yet, how your animals saved lives.
They've never been out of containment. It's crazy.
It won't work, Hoskins. The Indominus is part raptor. What, you worry they're going to start gossiping to each other? They don't even listen to you, a human, half the time. Why would they listen to some chimera that looks nothing like them? Horse herds will sometimes accept mules, even if they aren't completely a horse. Get out of here and stay away from my animals. You can only do this if you have approval from Masrani. Hoskins pulls out his phone and calls Masrani. It rings and goes to voicemail. This is a matter of public safety, Claire. This is happening, with or without the 2 of you. Releasing more dinosaurs into the park isn't the solution. You act like the raptors will be conscious long enough to run amok after they kill the Indominus.
Let's move it out!
Barry and Owen exchange a glance. They both decide going with the capture team might be their only chance they have of getting the raptors out of Hoskins' hands. Owen has the raptors smell the Indominus tooth he pulled from the gyrosphere earlier. The raptors are released, and the 4 of them stand outside of the paddock while ACU men have weapons trained on them. They sniff the air a few times, then bolt into the trees in the direction of the Indominus. They disappear from view without even acknowledging the humans. Hoskins, Owen, Barry, and the remaining members of ACU all gear up. Lowry watches in the control room and lets them know when the raptor trackers are nearly on top of the Indominus tracker, and the ACU team moves to get to that location. About halfway through their trip, Lowry spots something weird on the trackers. That's weird. What? The Indominus isn't running. It's changed directions to face the raptors. He hops on the radio. ACU, be advised, the Indominus has turned to meet the raptors. You guys don't have much time left. Suddenly, Dr. Wu walks into the control room to watch. The rest of the cast does not know he used DX to kill Masrani, so he is trying to look inconspicuous. The team parks a little ways away and sneaks up to the tracker point. They see a clearing where the Indominus is communicating with the Raptors. Owen realizes that his suspicions are true. The Indominus is part Raptor. Hoskins gives the order to open fire, and the team leads off with the rocket launcher and manages to knock the Indominus over like the original movie. As the Indominus gets back up, it begins to twitch and growl. Everyone stops firing because its twitching is getting more and more erratic. Dr. Wu stands up in the control room, his eyes wide with excitement. The ACU team watches as the Indominus starts moving more erratically and foaming at the mouth. Worse yet, it is not doing this because it is dying. I was right. Sufficient stimulus was needed to activate DX. Lowry, upon hearing this, radios and tells the ACU team to run. What has happened here is that the latent DX within the Indominus has activated and mental degradation has begun. The Indominus will die eventually now, but until that happens, its sense of self-preservation is gone and it is driven into a frenzy. It is the single most dangerous creature on the island. The team makes a break for their vehicles. They are worried because the Indominus is not following them. It actually seems to have run away. They almost get to the vehicles before they are ambushed by the Raptors. The scene plays out the same as the original movie, except Charlie survives rather than being blown up by the rocket launcher. The only change is that after Owen lures Blue away from Barry trapped in the log, Barry is able to get to his ATV and follows, trying to trank Blue. Owen and Barry chase Blue and Delta as she tries to attack Claire in the medical vehicle. The Indominus roars for both of them, and both Raptors hesitate, then continue to pursue. Owen tries to get them to stop by giving them a stop command that he tried to teach them. Delta stops, and Blue hesitates, but then both of them continue on their pursuit. They hear the Indominus roar a second time and choose to run off. Meanwhile, Dr. Wu has moved to the lab in the Innovation Center and is evacuating most of his data, but he orders backup generators to be online. He wants to be ready to get the Indominus corpse once DX kills it. Suddenly, he gets a call from Hoskins, who has slowly stumped back to the Raptor paddock since another ACU member took his ATV. The rest of ACU is almost back. Where are you? At the Raptor paddock. What happened to make that thing go all psycho? The DX it was infected with was activated under sufficient stimulus. I hypothesized that to be the case, but I needed her to be exposed to more stimulus than her paddock would allow. Wait, you broke the thermal cameras? Hoskins begins to get visibly angry and starts cussing Wu out. You better have a way off this island, Henry, because I am going to... Hoskins is suddenly cut off as Echo pops out of the forest and runs up to him. Easy, girl. I'm on your side, right? He tries to do Owen's hand thing. I'm on your side. Echo proceeds to bite his arm and kill him just like the original movie. Wu is still listening on the phone until Hoskins stops screaming. He hangs up. Huh. Change of plans, everyone. I want everything off-site. Now. The rest of the control room staff starts preparing to evacuate. Lowry volunteers to stay behind. Zara and the boys are getting ready to go, and then Owen, Barry, and Claire pull up to the visitor center and get to the control room. They all move towards the helipad to evacuate, but stop when they see the lab has been evacuated. Lowry stays behind in order to shut down non-essential systems and says he will join them soon. The scene of them entering Wu's secret lab behind the door remains the same. They will find Wu overseeing staff loading embryos and DX into storage cases and carrying them up to the helipad. What are you doing? Wu walks towards them from the other side of the room. I'm afraid that's above your jurisdiction, Claire. Sir, what are you doing with my cells? Taking them for future research. I reviewed the footage. I saw you two were in my lab. You know what those cells really are. What are you talking about? Barry pulls his gun out and points it at Dr. Wu. Dr. Wu, you need to step away. Dr. Wu smiles and pulls out a vial of DX. Mr. Barry, you don't want this to get out. Owen gestures to have Barry put the gun down. This is DX. The Indominus was infected with it. I needed data, so I let it run loose, and found that DX would activate when properly stimulated. Now the question is, what next? Imagine her, but a fraction of the size, even more intelligent, even more deadly, capable of hosting DX without suffering adverse effects. A true apex predator. Millions of years of evolution, all culminating in... He stops as he hears footsteps outside the door. He slowly backs up as Delta walks into the room. She sees the group first, and they all run out of the room as Delta pursues. Wu makes his way to the helicopter and evacuates with everything in tow. Sir, we have everything. Not everything. I will need that Indominus corpse. The helicopter takes off, and Wu escapes the island. The group runs through the main area of the visitor's center. Gray pulls up the Dilophosaurus projection to distract Delta. As they get outside, Blue, Echo, and Charlie all ambush them and encircle the group. Owen and Barry pull out some food and slowly unclip the headsets from all four of them. Charlie nicks Owen's hand at one point, but he stays calm and assures her everything is okay, which helps the rest of the raptors stay calm. It is pretty clear the raptors were not much of a problem during feeding time. The Indominus roars and enters Main Street. It already looks worse for wear and has seemingly been clawing at itself as it slowly loses its mind. It orders the raptors to attack. Throughout the movie, we have seen instances where the raptors' allegiances are not that strong, so this time they've chosen to disobey the Indominus and protect the people who have just fed them. This causes the Indominus to knock Blue to the side. Charlie is the first to run at the Indominus, but it bites down and kills her instantly. Owen whistles and Echo and Delta begin fighting the Indominus. Owen and Barry take shots at it as Claire, Zara, Zack, and Gray all hide. Gray tells Claire that the raptors won't be able to kill the Indominus. Claire has an idea. She grabs the flare and runs out calling Larry. She tells him she needs him to open paddock 9. He does so after some convincing, and Claire gets onto a nearby ATV, lights the flare, and leaves it in front of the door. After a few seconds of the door being open, nothing happens. Cutting back to Main Street, the Indominus continues to fight the raptors plus Owen and Barry. Delta gets thrown into the furnace, and the Indominus kills Echo the same way it killed Charlie, and throws her body towards Barry, who gets pinned underneath the dead raptor. Owen had made his way over to help Blue, seeing that she is still alive and just recovering, but rushes over to help Barry, and then sees the Indominus going for the gift shop where everyone is hiding. Zara finds a taser that was likely used to deter shoplifters below the desk, and tries to use it on the Indominus. If the fence near the Gyrosphere Valley did not stop the Indominus, the taser is barely a tickle. It grabs Zara, and Zack covers Gray's ears as she screams, and there is the sound of a chomp. This helps to restructure Zara's death to still be impactful and over the top per the actor's request, without being the absolutely absurd Pteranodon death from the original movie. Claire is worried. She heard Zara scream, and she wants to go back. The flare is starting to burn down when suddenly... The T-Rex emerges from the shadows and investigates the flare. Claire revs the engine, grabbing Rexy's attention, and drives away, causing the T-Rex to follow. Owen helps Barry out from underneath Echo's body, and they rush into the gift shop through the back door just as the Indominus grabs Gray's fanny pack strap. They manage to disconnect it before the Indominus can drag him away. The Indominus roars and prepares to attempt another grab when the sound of the ATV gets louder. Claire dismounts the ATV and dives away just as the T-Rex bursts onto Main Street and roars. After a few moments, it sees the Indominus and the two square up. They engage in a territorial dispute similar to the Giga and the T-Rex dispute in Jurassic World Dominion. The T-Rex decides a fight is not worth it and turns away to leave, signifying to the Indominus that she has won. The Indominus is losing it thanks to DX and is seen twitching and convulsing as the T-Rex turns. It has learned its whole life that things want to fight it, so it decides to strike first. As Rexy turns away, the Indominus claws at her tail, causing the T-Rex to turn back just as the Indominus lunges at her, and the same fight as the original movie ensues. When the Indominus is about to kill Rexy, Blue jumps into action, and the two are able to herd the Indominus down Main Street towards the lagoon. This fixes a couple of things. First, it shows Rexy behaving like an animal rather than being an action hero. Blue also does not Deus Ex Machina into the fight, as we previously saw that she was alive, and it shows how far gone the Indominus really is. It was possible Rexy walking away may have prevented the Indominus from engaging in another fight, and see that not everything is out to get her, but the DX has solidified her experiences as her mind deteriorates, and she has been thrown into a frenzy. By the time the three dinosaurs get to the edge of the lagoon, the Indominus is very beat up. She has metal bits from buildings that she was thrown into sticking into her side. The DX is taking its toll, and she starts to lose coordination, which allows Blue a window to jump on her face. She throws Blue off when Rexy headbutts her, and she breaks the railing, falling into the lagoon. The Indominus thrashes around for a few seconds, and then she is able to grab the side of the lagoon. The humans watch in horror as they see the Indominus begin to climb out of the lagoon, likely the same way she climbed out of her enclosure earlier that day. But before she gets all the way out, her thrashing attracted the attention of the occupant of the lagoon. The jaws of the Mosasaurus enclose around her neck. She shrieks in pain and is pulled underwater. The Indominus Rex is dead. Rexy begins to leave, and the group watches Blue run over to Echo and Charlie's bodies, nudging them to try and wake them up. As she nudges and calls, Barry stops Owen from going to her. They move past the final raptor and meet Lowry in the control room. At Claire's orders, he shuts down all of the park systems, thereby opening all of the paddock doors and giving the island over to the dinosaurs. He picks up his Apatosaurus figure, and they all go to the helipad to wait for an evacuation chopper. The next scene is all of them recovering at the makeshift hospital. Zack and Gray's parents show up and hug their children and Claire. Owen comforts Claire about Zara's death, where we find out that Zara had been working for Claire for years and was the only person Claire said she could have called a friend, even if Claire never showed it. After the two sit in silence for a few moments, Gray runs over and enthusiastically says, "We'll be your friends too, Aunt Claire, along with Uncle Owen." This causes Owen to chuckle nervously, and Claire to laugh and turn away, but the audience sees that she is blushing. The final scene cuts back to Isla Nublar. Rexy walks up to the helipad, observing her new territory, as Isla Nublar once again belongs to the dinosaurs. She roars, and we cut to black. And that's going to do it for my rewrite of Jurassic World. This was also a very fun project, and it was really fun to be able to try out some new editing techniques. I think that the groundwork that this rewrite has laid will do wonders for when I visit Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion, but those will be coming soon and at a later date. So I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and watch this rewrite. And next up, we will be revisiting the Transformers rewrite series, where I'll be taking a look at Revenge of the Fallen, which I'm very excited to show you guys what I've been working on with that. For now, though, I do believe that is all the time that we have for today. So once again, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the rewrite, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can be up to date when new videos release. For now, I've been David with the Rewrite Workshop. Be good to each other, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.